Hello everyone, welcome to Miss Doc T. This is Dr. Farheen, General Medicine resident, and today let's discuss the ECG findings of bradyarrhythmias, that is blocks. So by the end of this video, you'll easily be able to interpret the ECGs of SA nodal block and AV nodal block. So again, AV nodal block includes first degree, second degree and third degree AV nodal blocks. So without any further delay, let's get into the topic. So blocks could be due to the SA nodal block or it could be because of AV nodal block. Normally the SA node is the pacemaker of heart that will cause the contraction of atria and then through the AV node it will cause the contraction of ventricles. So this is how a normal sinus rhythm on an ECG looks like. Now whenever there is an SA nodal block, one complete ECG complex will be absent in the strip and this complex is known as a dropped complex. And all the remaining normal complexes are known as group beats or cluster beats. So whenever there is an SA nodal block, one complete ECG complex will be absent in the ECG strip. Because SA node is the pacemaker of heart, there is no generation of impulse at all. So there is a complete absence of an ECG complex and this complex is known as a dropped complex and all the remaining normal complexes are known as the group beats or the cluster beats. So now we'll look at an ECG. Here there is a P wave, a QRS and a T, and then a P wave, a QRS and a T, and then there is a complete absent complex. Again there are normal complexes and somewhere afterwards there is a complete drop in complex. This is known as a dropped complex and these are the group beats. So this is how an SA nodal block looks like. Now coming to the AV nodal block. So AV node is required for the conduction of impulse from the atria to the ventricle. So whenever there is a block in the AV node, atrial contraction occurs normally, but this contraction is not conducted into the ventricles. And that is why P wave is seen, but because of AV nodal block, there is no proper ventricular contraction after the atrial contraction. And again, this AV nodal block is of three types. So in the first degree AV nodal block, after the atrial contraction, there is a delayed ventricular contraction. So QRS is present after every P wave, but it occurs late due to the delay in the conduction from the atria to the ventricles. Between the atrial contraction, that is the P wave, and the ventricular contraction, that is the QRS complex, the gap is increased. This is measured by the PR interval. So the PR interval is increased in first degree AV block. Next, in the second degree AV block, there is intermittent interruption of conduction into the ventricle. So that means an impulse will not be conducted to the ventricles from the atria in between. And so in the ECG strips, a P wave is not followed by QRS complex. That means intermittently, somewhere in between, there is only atrial contraction which is not followed by ventricular contraction. So there is a P wave which is not followed by a QRS complex. This indicates second degree AV block. Now in third degree AV block, there is a complete block between the atria and the ventricles, because of which the atria will contract on its own and ventricles will contract on its own. So there is complete interruption of conduction between the atria and ventricles. And so there is no relation between the P wave and the QRS complexes. This third degree AV block is also known as a complete heart block. Just to summarize, in first degree AV block, there is just a delay between the atrial contraction and the ventricular contraction, because of which the gap between the P wave and the QRS complex, which is the PR interval, increases. In second degree AV block, there is an intermittent interruption of conduction. That means somewhere in between, there is no ventricular contraction after the atrial contraction. So there is only a P wave which is not followed by a QRS complex. And in third degree AV block, there is complete interruption of conduction. So the P waves and the QRS complexes have no relationship with each other. Now, in an SA nodal block, there are complete absent of complexes because the pacemaker itself is blocked. So there is no P, there is no QRS and there is no T. But in AV nodal block, atrial contraction is normal, but this is not being conducted properly into the ventricles, because of which the P wave is present but the QRS and the T waves may or may not be present. So remember, no P waves are seen in SA nodal block, but P waves are present in AV nodal block. Now we'll look at the first degree AV block. So here, like I said, after the atrial contraction, there is a delay in the ventricular contraction, because of which the gap between the P wave and the QRS complexes increases. So we'll just compare it with a normal ECG below. So in the normal ECG, between the P wave and the QRS complex, which is known as the PR interval, should be 0.12 to 0.20 seconds, which is equal to 3 to 5 small boxes. But if there is a delay, then the PR interval increases to more than 0.2 seconds, that is more than 5 small boxes or more than 1 large box. This is known as a first degree AV block. Now we'll look at an ECG. So in this ECG, so there is a P, there is a QRS and a T. So complexes are present, but between the P wave and the QRS complex, count the number of small boxes which are present. So in ECG, 5 small boxes is equal to 1 large box. So count the number of boxes between the P wave and the QRS complex, and in case it is more than 5 small boxes, that is more than 1 large box, it indicates there is a first degree AV block. So if the PR interval is more than 1 large box or more than 5 small boxes, that indicates there is a first degree AV block. But remember, in first degree AV block, always a P wave is followed by a QRS complexes. Only thing is there is a delay between the P wave and the QRS complex. Next, we'll look at the second degree AV block. So in second degree AV block, what happens is somewhere in between there is an interrupted conduction. So after a P wave, there is no QRS complex. This second degree AV block is of two types, Mobitz's type 1, which is also known as the Wenckebach phenomenon, or Mobitz's type 2 block. So in Mobitz's type 1 block, the pathology is almost always at the AV node, and here the first impulse will get conducted to the ventricles normally, so an almost normal complex is formed. The second impulse conducts to the ventricle with a delay, so there is a little delay between the atrial and the ventricular contraction, so between the P and the QRS the gap increases. So in the next impulse, the delay is further increased between the atrial and the ventricular contraction. So between the P wave and the QRS complex, the gap further increases. And then after some P wave, there is no complex at all. So to summarize this, Mobitz's type 1 block, the PR interval, that is between the P wave and the QRS complex, keeps on increasing progressively, and after a point there is no QRS at all. So progressive increased PR interval followed by a drop in QRS complex is seen in Mobitz's type 1 block. Next, in Mobitz's type 2 block, so there is again interrupted conduction where a P wave will not be followed by QRS, but the PR interval remains constant. So there is no progressive elongation. The PR interval remains constant followed by a drop of QRS complex in between. So this is known as Mobitz's type 2 block. So in the first picture, like you can see very clearly, between the P wave and the QRS complex, the PR interval is increasing progressively, and at a point after the P wave, there is no QRS. This is Mobitz's type 1 block. So progressive increase in PR interval followed by a drop in QRS complex is Mobitz's type 1. In the second ECG, so the PR interval remains constant. So in all the complexes, the PR interval is constant, and at a point after the P wave, there is no QRS complex. So progressively increasing PR interval followed by a drop of QRS is Mobitz's type 1, and constant PR interval followed by a drop of QRS is Mobitz's type 2. Now we look at the third degree AV block. So in third degree AV block, there is complete block between the atrial and the ventricular contraction, because of which the atrial contraction and ventricular contraction are independent of each other. So there is no relationship between the P waves and the QRS complexes at all. Now we'll look at an ECG here. So here the P waves are occurring very random and QRS complexes occur randomly. So this is a third degree AV block. Another important kind of AV block is a 2:1 AV block. So here what happens is the first impulse will be conducted to the ventricles causing a ventricular contraction, but the next impulse will only cause atrial contraction and there is no ventricular contraction. So the first impulse will have a P followed by a QRS, and in the next impulse there is only P wave without the QRS. That means every alternate P wave is not followed by a QRS complex. So this is known as a 2:1 AV block. Now we'll look at an ECG. So in this ECG, you can see there is a P wave, there is a QRS and a T wave. Then the next P wave is not followed by a QRS. Again there is a P wave, QRS and a T wave. And the next P wave is not followed by a QRS. So every alternate P wave is not followed by a QRS complex. So this indicates a 2:1 type of AV block. Now, whenever in an ECG strip, a P wave is not followed by a QRS complex, look for three things. If the PR interval is progressively increasing before the drop, that indicates Mobiit's type 1 second degree AV block. If the PR interval remains constant, that indicates Mobiit's type 2 second degree AV block. And if every alternate P wave is not followed by a QRS complex, then that indicates 2:1 type of AV block. So remember this flowchart. Now we'll look at a question. Identify the following ECGs. So in the first ECG, say there is a P wave, there is a QRS complex and a T wave. And the next P wave is not followed by a QRS. Again there is a P wave, a QRS complex and a T wave. And the next P wave is not followed by a QRS complex. So every alternate P wave is not followed by a QRS complex. This indicates 2:1 type of AV block. Now we'll look at the next ECG. So here there is a P wave which is not followed by a QRS complex. So again there is a P wave which is not followed by a QRS complex. Now go back and look at the PR interval. So the PR interval is progressively increasing before there is a drop in QRS complex. So progressively increasing PR interval followed by a drop of QRS complex indicates Mobiit's type 1 second degree AV nodal block. And suppose in the same ECG if the PR interval remains constant followed by a drop in QRS complex, then it is Mobiit's type 2 second degree AV nodal block. This is the complete picture of what we have discussed. I hope this video helped you in the interpretation of blocks on an ECG. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. Let's meet again with another new topic. Till then, just take care, be happy and stay safe.